Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing I don't know why I haven't done this before. Blind buying. It is both terrifying and exciting at the very same time, and I think it's probably why in especially the perfume world it's quite addictive and very easy to do. And I used to do it a lot early on, not so much now. I've definitely gotten into a zone of sampling a lot before I decide to buy a bottle these days. Sometimes I will still blind buy just simply if I cannot find a sample or test it somewhere. I am going to rank my top 10 blind buys in my wardrobe. Now, these are absolutely blind in that I purchased a bottle, okay? I purchased an actual bottle before I could smell a sample once or test it in a store. These are basically a true definition of a blind buy. So I never smelled these fragrances until I unboxed the parcel and sprayed it on my skin, and that was the first time. So I have at the moment, interestingly, when I had a look through my wardrobe, about 12 bottles still there that I blind bought this way, but I'm going to rank my top 10, okay? And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because, well, you know, I don't want the video to be too long. At number 10, I have from Histoires de Parfum. Let's have a look if that focuses. Fidelis. Okay, so this was a blind buy because from memory, I think I had seen an Instagram post or read something about it that immediately, read a review that immediately got my attention. And I think mainly it was the fact that it had a coffee note. And I'm pretty sure at the time I was kind of looking for something with coffee or a coffee fragrance, and I've since kind of gone off that idea now. But luckily for me, this isn't just about the coffee. This is a great fragrance on its own, but it is only ranked 10 of the rest of my blind buys. I mean, I enjoy this a lot, but when I put them next to the others, you know, this is where it sits. That's Fidelis from Histoires de Parfum. Okay, so the next one is from Guerlain. This is Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. Okay, so again, one of my followers on Instagram or a subscriber, Lyndon, he recommended this to me just in a couple of messages. We might have been talking about freshy summer scents, and again, this was one I couldn't sample anywhere here. I couldn't find, I mean, I didn't try very hard and I couldn't find anyone that sold decants of this, but I did find a 30ml, I think this is a 30ml bottle or a 50ml, I'm not sure. A small bottle of this, very, very cheap online, and I thought the risk was worth it, and the risk definitely paid off. One of the few fragrances with a mint note that I really enjoy. Mojito, apparently, a drink that I still yet to have. Rum, mint, lime, it's all good, and it just worked really well in the hot weather. All right, number 8, again, I was influenced by something I'd read. This one was more to do with the fact that I just started becoming interested in carnation-based scents. Also, the price dropped on this one, and you know, from a relatively expensive price when it was released, and I saw it online and I took the risk because again, I just couldn't sample it anywhere. And this one here is Louis by Guerlain. So again, carnation, oh, wow. I need to wear this again soon. Benzoin, 2 of my favorite notes currently, and they're blended really well together. Absolutely down the line, unisex in every way, I find. There is nothing overtly masculine and at the same time not feminine about it either. Even though it's called Louis, just don't pay any attention to that. I really, really enjoyed this and a very successful blind buy for me. Here's one I haven't reviewed yet. It's from German designer Anat Fritz. This one is called Classical. There we go. All right, vetiver, lavender. I wore this yesterday actually, and I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed it because, like another relatively simple scent, Caron's Pour un Homme, again, this is, you know, I'm only making the comparison not so much because there's a connection of lavender between those two, but because they're relatively straightforward, simple compositions. But I really like the ingredients they use in this because they smell good. I bought this, again, I only blind bought this because it was on sale. Read a good review on it, and luckily for Classical and me, I was right into lavender at the time, and little did I know that this also had a killer vetiver accord in it as well, and I'm really happy I bought this bottle because it's not available here at the moment anyway, and it's pretty difficult to find. Okay, at number 6, this and one other one in the next few, I actually bought blind at the same time. So the first of these two blind buys I bought probably 3 or 4 years ago now, in the middle of its hype, the peak of its hype on YouTube, but I still really like it, and now it's very, very difficult to find, and it's none other than Thierry Mugler's Ultra Zest. Get that in focus. Let's spray it because I actually haven't worn this in a while. Orange, I don't know what you call them. Here we call them spider. Orange Fanta Spider is what I would describe this as. Yes, it's that orange popsicle, but it's just done so well and it's so addictive to smell. You can wear this all year round. It has the Amen DNA, but at the top, it's just something else in the opening and so uplifting. One of my all-time happy scents, Ultra Zest. I'm really glad that I've still got about 70 ml left because this is going to get harder and harder to find. Now, the next one I blind bought, but in all honesty, now I cannot for the life of me remember why I bought it. It would have been a combination of it being available at a very good price. So I'll just introduce you. That's Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. But I must have, as per usual, I must have read something or a post somewhere got my attention on this particular fragrance. And yeah, I still can't remember why I was attracted to it. Maybe, oh yes, it was because the note of myrrh was mentioned as being part of this fragrance, and like I'm wont to do with a lot of different notes, I was right into that particular note at the time. And funnily enough, although I can smell the myrrh quite, that's so good. Clearly, it's so much. It's, you know, everything about this I really like. You know, if I've done reviews on these, I'll put links up to the reviews. But this is just such clean, elegant, easygoing class in a bottle here. And I'm so glad I got a huge bottle of this because I think this is still available at least on Prada's website. But I just really enjoy it. Whenever I wear this, I feel 10% more attractive and 10% more confident. It's as simple as that. Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Okay, so this one here is the one I bought along with the Ultra Zest. So I bought these two bottles at the same time. roughly 4 years ago. It is probably my favorite Chanel. This I bought based on, you know, when you start learning a bit about fragrances and you hear about certain classic designers that everyone must try. Well, Chanel Egoist is that for me. Again, there is nothing I have smelled since I got this bottle that's even close to this. The first time I really enjoyed rose in a men's fragrance, but it's, you know, the sandalwood, the spices. It's just like right out of the box, and I'm just trying to remember. I'm just trying to imagine when this was released way back in 1990, 30 years ago, after a decade of pretty much full-on powerhouse barbershop fragrances that mainly for men. This comes out. It's based on creamy woods and spices, a rose note, and it's just like unique. And I'm sure people who know more about the history of men's designer fragrances can correct me, but I can't imagine that there was too much as unique as this when this was released. Chanel Egoist from 1990. Okay, we've got to our top three. I don't want to say too much about this one. I bought Timbuktu blind, and I can tell you that it was purely based on reading Luca Turin's 5-star rated fragrances in the first guide. This was one of them. I found the bottle for relatively cheap. You know, stupidly bought only a 50 ml, but you know, like I still got more than half of it left, and I've never looked back. This is the fragrance that dropped me full on into the niche rabbit hole in perfumery. It's Timbuktu. So my two favorite blind buys I've bought in the last 12 months. Okay, so this one here I bought because I couldn't find the sample, and it was very highly recommended to me by someone whose taste and knowledge and experience I trust. So when I kind of did buy it impulsively once I found out that it was being sold here in Australia online, and I thought, well, it was one of those perfect storm combinations where I had some cash to spend and I hadn't bought a bottle in a while, and I decided to buy this bottle of, it's all smudged. This is Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Badois. This is pretty much the release of 2019 for me, and I think it's just growing. I think it's just growing in popularity from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing around the fragrance circles. People who try this are also raving it, and with good cause. It's an amazing scent. All right, at my number one, this is, okay, so the reason, I'll give you the story. This was the most blind buy almost that I had, because I had not really almost heard about this fragrance, let alone read reviews about it, read anything about it. I was putting in an order for a bottle of Nicolai's New York Intense, which I had tried before. And I wanted to, I was only buying a 30 ml bottle, but I wanted to spend enough because I was ordering it directly from Nicolai to make the shipping worthwhile and so on, as you do when you're shopping online. I made an almost like impulsive purchase and ordered another 30 ml bottle from their line. At the time, I was right again. I was right into patchouli scents. Okay, so given that this was called Patchouli Intense, I just assumed that it would be a well-made as I would expect from Nikolai. Well-made patchouli fragrance, like some of the other patchouli fragrances I've got in my collection. But after I'd worn this 1 or 2 times, this basically made it into my top 5 fragrances that I own. Like, for starters, it's not really, to my nose, a patchouli scent. The main things I smell are geranium and lavender. There is patchouli in the background. It's kind of spicy. It is, I would describe it as a, I don't know what I would describe as, like a fougere chypre kind of thing, but it doesn't matter. It just smelled amazing and has atomic performance, lasts like forever, but just smells great. It smells like nothing else that I own in my collection. And that's the reason why this is my #1 blind buy, because I almost didn't mean to order this, and now I've ended up with like a fragrance that's in my top 5 fragrances in my wardrobe, and I really, really love it. So I only see that as a bonus. Now, I need to just end this video by saying that I would have to say I've been really, really, really lucky with blind buying fragrances. I don't generally recommend it, like, especially not spending a lot of money, because it's a risk, you know, it's a gamble. I mean, if you are working within a budget and you kind of know your tastes and you kind of can trust what you're reading and hearing, then, you know, you're basically shortening the odds of you buying something you like. But I guess what I'm saying is be responsible with your fragrance purchases. Don't let it get out of hand, because yeah, you can get lucky, but you don't want to end up with a bunch of bottles that you don't love. Funnily enough, for me, a lot of the bottles that I'm getting rid of are ones that I didn't blind buy. So, you know, I don't know what that means, but that was my top 10 blind buys in my entire wardrobe, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'd like to know in the comments about what your all-time favorite blind buys have been, your like success stories. I don't want to hear about failures, because we all have them, but I'm very curious to hear about the ones that, you know, were 100% successes. And as always, thank you for watching and for your support, and I will see you all soon. Bye.